Hey everyone, welcome to the 11th episode of the Creators Corner here on the TubeBuddy channels. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is really a weekly recurring live stream where we talk to different creators. And yeah, we just have candid conversations. And so today we've got a really awesome guest. But first, my name is Rob Balasabas. I'm the brand evangelist here at TubeBuddy. And today we're talking about monetization on YouTube. So it's a huge topic, and we'll try to cover as much as we can in this episode. But this is something that we'll probably talk about ongoing for a number of different episodes ongoing. As creators build their channels, growing their subscriber count, their views, their watch time, all those metrics, they're also thinking about how they monetize all of that work, right? So hopefully you as a creator, you're thinking about monetizing and how you're gonna do that. So one speaker in a conference, I think that I attended said that if you don't have a business behind all the content that you're creating, then you have a very expensive hobby. So that's really what we want to tackle today, YouTube monetization and all the different ways that you can monetize your channel, both on YouTube and also off YouTube. So before I introduce my special guest today, let me know in the comments how you are monetizing your channel. And also, I'd love for you to share this live stream, retweet it, start a watch party on Facebook, share it on LinkedIn, on Facebook, wherever, and also tag a friend. Tag a friend that should be tuning into this as well. So this is a conversation like it always is every single episode. So share your thoughts, your opinions, and most importantly, your questions in the comments, all right? So I'm gonna bring our special guest in here. As I introduce him, he's gonna just probably sit quietly and wave. Hey, Tom. So you guys might know Tom Martin. Tom is a certified YouTube growth specialist. He's added millions of subscribers, grown views by billions, and increased revenues by huge multiples for the brands and companies that he's worked with. He's going to talk about some of those brands in this interview. He also provides corporate training, one-on-one consultancy, and also does full service channel management for a number of different brands and companies. He speaks at big stages. He just recently spoke at VidCon London, and he's also going to be speaking on the same stage as Arnold Schwarzenegger at Traffic and Conversion in San Diego later this month. So we're going to get to hang out there. He has a podcast called the Video Insiders Podcast with another good friend of ours, Carlos Pacheco. So he is a busy man. So Tom, why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and where you're tuning in from today?
Well, you've done such a great job, Rob. I don't know much more I can say, but yeah, so I'm here just outside of London in the UK. That's why I speak funny, not like you guys who, most of you watching this in the US. And yeah, so I've been basically running other people's YouTube channels for the last, 8 years now. So I'm not really a content creator. So I've just been uploading and optimizing other people's videos pretty much every single day for the last 8 years. So, I've uploaded thousands and thousands and thousands of videos. So I've seen a lot of data. I've been inside the back end of a lot of channels. So I know what works and what doesn't work, especially from a monetization point of view. And the great thing about monetization on YouTube is that with a click of a few buttons, you can really up your monetization literally overnight. So yeah, lots of exciting things to talk about.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited to jump into this. This is not something we've talked about too much in the Creators Corner, but I think it's an important topic. Before we do that, some comments here coming in. Carlos Pacheco. Carlos is here. He says, I'm not sure about this guy.
He's trolling. Don't feed the trolls.
Don't feed the trolls. All right, I won't mention Carlos anymore. No, I'm kidding. Carlos is great. Hopefully I'll see you in Toronto. He is thinking about, he's crossing his fingers that some of these conferences are going to happen, with all the things that are happening around the world. But yeah, hopefully it'll be all good. Mark Fricaro's here, Brian Kelly, Amelie, Dolwood Dad, Jeff Bates is here as well. So yeah, fantastic. So yeah, let us know in the comments, how you're monetizing your YouTube channel, whether on YouTube or off YouTube by way of courses, programs, consultancy, services, all those things. And we'll dive into that. All right, so Tom, first thing I guess is, let's just dive right into monetization. So can you maybe just share some of the different ways that, creators can monetize and build streams, build revenue streams on YouTube?
Yeah, I think the most obvious one is the Adsense, or the YouTube Partner Program, where you reach a certain threshold, which at the moment is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months. And once you've hit that threshold, YouTube will review your channel manually just to make sure you're not like ripping other people's content or doing some crazy stuff that's not brand friendly. And then once you're past that threshold, you'll start to have ads run on your content, and you will get a split of that revenue which YouTube is selling on your behalf. So that's the main way. We'll talk about a number of ways today, but I thought it was really interesting what you said earlier about if you don't have a business surrounding what you're doing, you have a really expensive hobby. And I'd say as well, I'd go even further than that and say that if you don't have a business around your YouTube channel, if you don't have a product, you are the product. You know, YouTube's making money from you, so you need to have other ways of making money as well. But for a lot of YouTubers and creators, AdSense is the big thing. And as I say, we'll go into some really actionable steps around how you can maximize your AdSense. But quickly, just to kind of list them off, you know, we can talk about merch, sponsorships, brand partnerships, selling your own products, courses. Then we've got things like channel memberships, super chats, things like Patreon, stuff like that. So yeah, lots and lots of ways.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different ways here. Christopher says that he is, you know, he's got a membership, he's got courses, he's got physical merch, and also live events. So that's another thing. You know, a lot of people are sort of like, they go to courses, memberships, and then eventually they, you know, all the members, they want to get together in person and say they do live events, right?
Yeah. Chris is understating what he does. He's one of the main founders of an amazing YouTube channel called Yoga with Adrian, and they're maximizing monetization across the board. They're kind of the textbook example of how to monetize a YouTube channel. So definitely wait until the stream's finished, of course, and then go and check out Yoga with Adrian and all of the ways that they can take money from you in some way. Of course, they're delivering a ton of value, but they're just offering their fans lots of ways that they can monetize.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. I'll definitely be checking out Chris's channel there. Our friend John says he brings in AdSense and Amazon, so Amazon affiliates. This is very popular for anybody selling. Like, I built a studio and I bought a bunch of equipment through Amazon affiliate links from guys that I was watching.
Yeah, of course, affiliate marketing was one of the ones that I didn't even mention, but is probably one of the easiest ways to get started in making extra revenue streams. And for those of you that don't know what affiliate marketing is, just in case, basically you send somebody to buy somebody else's product on their website, say for example Amazon, and you send them through a special link, and then that sale gets tracked to you, and then you get a commission back on that revenue that's generated through the traffic that you've sent. So Amazon Associates program is probably the best, the widest known affiliate program out there.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, very popular. Online courses, this is a very straightforward, like it's an easy transition from you sharing free content to then, you know, inviting them to take your paid course. So very, very good. Cool. So let's dive into AdSense, Tom. Give us some real talk about AdSense. You know, at what point should we consider it? You mentioned that there is some, you know, you do need to qualify for AdSense. Not anybody can just start a channel and jump on and start creating AdSense dollars. What are some of those requirements? And then also, what are some do's and don'ts when it comes to AdSense?
Yeah, so to straight up, you need to have 1,000 subscribers before YouTube will even consider giving it to you, and also 1,000 hours of watch time within the last 12 months period. So for some people, they might do that in a day. For some people, it may take a few years. Then once you've reached that threshold, you'll get manually reviewed to see if your channel is advertiser friendly and you're playing along with all of YouTube's community guidelines. I was actually speaking about this to somebody today, and they're like, okay, so once I cross that threshold, how much money am I going to make? And realistically, if you're only just crossing that threshold, you're probably talking about a few dollars a month if you're lucky. because to generate real revenue on YouTube through AdSense, you really need to be generating millions of views a month, pretty much. So just a kind of back of a napkin piece of maths. If you're getting about 1 million views, you're probably bringing in somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000 per month for 1 million views. So just to put that in perspective, if you think that as soon as you're going to cross that threshold, you're going to start to see, you're going to start making it rain. It's just not going to happen. So probably best to kind of really set everyone's expectation there. But let's say that you start, building up some momentum. How do you, and you might already be making a really healthy AdSense check every month. But I've worked with so many channels, and I continue to audit a lot of channels. And one of the easiest things that I can deliver to clients is by saying, do you realize that you're not ticking this box? And if you tick this box, you'd maybe make an extra 5% of revenue every day. So I'm just going to go through a few of those little kind of tweaks that you can make to your settings and optimizations to increase your revenue. So the first thing that you should do is make sure that all of the ad formats are ticked. So by default on many channels, the unskippable ads will be unticked. And I think that really stems back from the olden days when unskippable ads could be like 30 seconds before you could skip. The youngsters here will not realize the pain of not being able to skip for 30 seconds. You only have to wait for like 6 or 15 seconds. You're very, very lucky. So a lot of people back in the day would untick that box because they thought, well, if I have long unskippable ads on my videos, people are going to go and abandon and watch someone else's video. And so that's definitely not the case anymore. One, because you don't have 30-second unskippable videos anymore. And two, and this is probably like the biggest myth I want to debunk around AdSense, is that, oh, I don't want ads on my videos because people won't watch, people will just abandon. But the thing is that nowadays, people are so used to seeing ads, pre-roll ads on YouTube before videos, they're just totally blind to them. So no one's going to be put off. It's just, that's the price you pay to watch a video on YouTube, is you have to sit through a few ads. So I would definitely make sure you tick all of the available ad formats, including unskippable. And also make sure that you bulk update all of your old videos. So not just the new videos that you've got, but if you've got 100 old videos, you can bulk update those. So you can select in your video manager, you can select all of your videos with the kind of select all tick box. And then from the drop down menu, you'll be able to choose which ad types, I believe. And then you can bulk update all of your old videos. And then you can update your upload default settings so that any new video that you upload will also have all of the ad formats ticked. The second biggest kind of leak that I see in people's YouTube channels is people that have videos that are longer than 10 minutes. And if you have videos that are longer than 10 minutes, you are at a massive advantage. One, because the YouTube algorithm rewards longer videos that get watched for longer. But two, from an AdSense point of view, once you hit the 10-minute threshold, you can then place mid-roll ads in the middle of the video. And this is where a lot of people leave money on the table. So obviously it depends how long your video is, how many mid-rolls that you want to place. But I think generally people either totally forget to do this, so they don't place any mid-rolls. Secondly, what they might do is to click a button or a box that lets YouTube auto-select where to put those ads. And that's just not optimal. YouTube is very smart, but it's not smarter than most humans who can watch a piece of content and say, this is an appropriate place to put an ad and this is not. Because the last thing you want to do is place an ad halfway through a sentence or halfway through a really important moment or a really inappropriate moment. Maybe there's like a really heartfelt, emotional thing being said, and all of a sudden you've got this big, horrible mid-roll advert. So I'd say tip one for mid-rolls, make sure they're switched on. Two, don't let YouTube choose them. And 3, I would say be more aggressive in the placement of mid-roll ads than you think you should be. So when I say that, what I'm saying is you can afford to put more ads in than you think. One is, again, because people are pretty much used to them. And secondly, because even though you're placing the setting for the mid-rolls to go, it doesn't necessarily mean that YouTube will actually serve an ad in that place. You're just giving YouTube the opportunity to serve that ad. So what I like to do is try and be as aggressive as I feel comfortable with, and then let YouTube optimize that experience by serving an ad or not. In terms of how aggressive you should be, that's entirely up to you and what fits with your editorial. So, for example, let's take, for example, Chris's channel. He's got a yoga channel. You don't really want a mid-roll ad in the middle of a yoga session. That's just not going to work. So you're going to have to sacrifice that. But if I'm having like a 45-minute discussion with someone or a podcast, at certain points, I can very much afford for people to take a 30-second break to place an ad. I've seen channels be as aggressive as placing an advert every 2 minutes. I definitely wouldn't recommend that. I think that's too much. But I think somewhere, like 7 to 10 minutes, placing an ad every 7 to 10 minutes, I think people can more than put up with that. As I say, because an advert won't always be served, and it won't always be an in-stream video ad. It will sometimes be like a little pop-up banner ad, that kind of thing. So that's a really good one for mid-roll ads. And lastly, to do with mid-roll ads, is that I would never ever tick the post-roll ad. So that's the ad that plays after a video finishes. Now, that might seem like, oh, well, you're leaving money on the table. But from my point of view, once somebody has got to the end of my video, I don't want there to be any impediment for them to watch my next video. And if I'm doing my job correctly, which I'd like to think I am, then I'm almost certainly going to get that top spot at the suggested sidebar. And so if there's an advert there that's going to stop someone from getting to my next video, I'd rather not have that ad served. So in my opinion, and for all of the clients that I work with, I suggest that they don't have that after video ends advert running. One question that I get about Adsense quite a lot is, let's say, for example, you've got a topic which is somehow controversial, or it's not necessarily controversial, but YouTube have deemed that the kind of metadata around that is not advertiser friendly. So let's say, for example, you've got a health channel and you're talking about some kind of medicine. YouTube may not deem that to be advertiser friendly, and so may give you one of those little yellow dollar signs that no one really wants to see in their video manager. And I often get the question, like, how can I circumvent this? How can I get away with this? How can I still make the same videos but not get demonetized? And you could try and be clever, and you could try not to put those words in the metadata, in your titles, tags, and descriptions. But in all honesty, if your business model is based on making money from AdSense, then you shouldn't be running the channel that talks about controversial topics, because the two just don't go hand in hand. So you would have to either change the business model where you really focus on other streams of revenue, or you need to choose a topic that's not controversial. And I know that's easy for me to say from the outside, because some people have made a channel for years. They may have had a channel that's five years old. They've got 1,000 videos, and all of a sudden overnight they're demonetized. Unfortunately, you're playing on YouTube's land, and so you need to play by their rules. So unfortunately, there's really not a way that you can avoid that. If you've got a channel about guns or politics or all sorts of topics, unfortunately, AdSense is probably not going to be the business model that you want to use as a top priority for the business.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, because I think, that's a really good point to consider, right? And not to discourage people, because there are other revenue channels that we are, that you mentioned. So I want to just stay on AdSense for a little bit, because you did say there, it's sort of like really quick math. 1 million views can turn somewhere around $1,000 to $3,000 monthly revenue for AdSense. Now, if somebody, for example, was, if they had a course and maybe the course is like $500, right? You don't need 1 million views to get to $1,000 or $3,000 in revenue. You probably need a few hundred at the most, kind of thing, to get a few clicks to go to your landing page and register for your course. So that being said, if you have something like that, if you have like a high ticket product, course, offering, service, that you're promoting through your channel, that's how you monetize. Would you suggest running AdSense mid-roll? Because it kind of disrupts, I suppose, like the sort of the momentum of your page.
Yeah. So I definitely, if I had a video that was a strong call to action specifically for that course, then no, I definitely wouldn't have mid-roll, and I probably wouldn't even have pre-roll, because I'm just thinking pretty much this is an advert. I don't want anyone to basically have to sit for an advert for my advert. So yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't, especially if it's high ticket, because you're trying to, if I'm selling you a course and it's $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 a coaching program, whatever it may be, I don't want that jeopardized by me making like half a cent on you seeing a Grammarly ad. It's not worth it. I don't want you to think that I even need to run ads necessarily.
Right.
There may be an argument to be said that if you don't have ads on, then maybe your reach will be limited. YouTube will say that's not the case. In my opinion,
right.
It probably is partly the case. Just anecdotal experience, not necessarily scientific evidence there.
Right.
So there is an argument why you might want to have AdSense on a kind of promotional channel. But what I think is a really important point is a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and then I'm just going to just send people left, right, and center to my course, to my landing page, to buy my book. But the problem is YouTube doesn't like people that send people away from YouTube.
Right.
They make their money by keeping people on the platform, serving more ads, collecting more data. So you really need to find a nice balance between sending people to your products, services, and keeping people on the platform watching more videos. So I always like to say you want a ratio of maybe like 1 in 4, 1 in 5. So let's say we're talking about Photoshop, a channel that teaches people how to do Photoshop, and I've got a brand new Photoshop course that's come out. So I might do like free video, and if you need to see the next part, go to video 2. At the end of video 2, I send people to video 3. At the end of video 3, I send people to video 4. And at the end of video 4, I say, this is really, really like important information. I hope you've enjoyed it. But if you want to take it to the next level, you can click here on this card, and that's going to take you to my brand new Photoshop course. And you can get a discount code, blah, blah, blah. And so you kind of have a series of video where you're kind of give, and then you make an ask of the audience to go to the landing page or whatever it might be. That way, you're not being overly promotional to your audience. You're not hitting them over the head with an advert every single video. And also, you're kind of scratching YouTube's back as well, because you're getting people to watch 4 videos, 5 videos before you kind of make the push for them to leave the video.
That's great. That's a great tip, man. I create a lot of tutorial videos, and so I think that's a great tip for anybody creating that type of content, because you're building trust with your audience. You're not saying like, hey, here's one tip, now go buy my course. You're giving like 4 or 5 videos, and then you're even that's at that point you mention your course. So that's beautiful. That's a great tip. We got a question here from John. Hey, Dan as well, Dan Courier. We were just talking about people of video. Okay, so John is asking, Tom, can I untick the post-roll and ad checkbox without worrying about YouTube re-annexing my video and losing my SEO ranking?
Yeah, so the video placement will have no bearing on your kind of, and there's no SEO factoring in. If you totally removed all ads from your channels, maybe it would have an effect, because let's look at it from YouTube's point of view. You know, I've got a camera. I'm a viewer, and I'm looking for a webcam review. So I search for like Logitech C920 review, and there are two options that YouTube can serve me. One that's from creator X that doesn't serve ads, and one from creator Y that does serve ads. Which one are they more likely to promote? I'm guessing the one that serves ads. So I think if you removed all of your ads entirely, then maybe they would hurt your kind of rankings. But if you just unticked one of the ad options, I don't think it's going to have a massive impact. No.
Got it. Got it. Awesome, John. So hopefully that answers your question there, John. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know. And everybody tuning live, thanks for hanging out with us. I'm here with Tom Martin. He is a YouTube growth strategist. So we're talking about monetization. And so, yeah, if you have any questions around that, AdSense, any other things around monetization on YouTube, drop them in the comments. All right. So I want to ask you, as far as your own business, how are you monetizing YouTube?
Yeah, so I have a couple of very, very young channels. Most of my work is done on other people's channels. But I've decided to put my money where my mouth is. So this year, by the end of this year, I'm hoping to have 5 or 6 channels. At the moment, I've only got one that's public, and I'm keeping that super top secret for the moment. But one thing that I really am thinking very, very strongly about, so strongly, in fact, I've actually started up a kind of separate company, is distribution of your content onto other platforms. And I think this is really, really important, especially now if you're running a kids channel, because all of a sudden you're seeing revenues and views dip pretty much overnight from December. Some people as early as kind of July last year. Very good friends of mine have had channels just wiped out overnight. And so you've already got a catalog of existing content. You still might be making new content. A lot of people have probably given up. But now I would look and say, okay, where else is kids content available? Where else can I place this content and make money that I'm not relying on just one source of income, i.e. YouTube? So if you've got lots of like 5-minute videos, I would say, how can I re-edit these videos to make kind of, hi Lane, how can I make these videos into like 20-minute episodes? So I'd think, which 4 or 5-minute episodes can I stitch together to make like a TV length episode? And then I'm going to look to put that onto Amazon Video Direct, which is kind of Amazon's own self-serve kind of video platform where you make money through Prime members watching your videos. And the reason that I say make 20-minute versions is because Amazon pay out on minutes watched. And also it just fits into the ecosystem of Amazon where it's kind of TV content. So you're trying to package up your YouTube content as more like TV content. And then you can approach other platforms that are out there like Kadoodle and Hopstar and all of these. Tubi, I think, is one. There are loads of other kind of new emerging kids platforms where you can't just upload, but you can contact their. They'll have a contact form on their website, and you'll be able to sign a contract with them to have your content on their platforms, not just YouTube. And these new platforms are really, really growing. I think Kadoodle is now the biggest video app on Amazon Fire, really just explosive, because a lot of these big kids creators are now saying, well, I've lost 60% of my revenue in the last few months, but my costs are still the same. So how can I make that revenue back? So I'm really thinking about where else can I make money. If your videos are not super visual, could I strip the audio and put them up on iTunes and try and monetize it as a podcast as well? And there's monetizing a podcast is a whole separate conversation, but so yeah, I'm really thinking about how can I distribute the same asset on Facebook as well. Facebook have got a monetization program, probably not relevant for kids creators, but for how to, sport, music, entertainment, how else can I get that same content that I've already invested in, the time, the effort, the resource? How can I make money from something that I've already created once?
Yeah, no, that's very important. That's very important, especially with people with kids channels and things like that. You got to look at other ways to monetize. And in general, I think it's important to look at other platforms and other ways to get and distribute your content into other platforms, whether or not you're trying to drive them back to your YouTube channel, as your home base for your content. But yeah, definitely good point there, Tom. So I want to say what's up to Graham. Says nice ratio trick. I think he's talking about sort of the number of gives to the ask. So thanks for that. Eileen is here. Says long time no see, Tom. And Jeff Dole Whip Dad says Tom is impressive. Be checking out his services for sure. So yeah, you can check out actually Tom's. I've got it on here, but it's channelfuel.co. So I'll share that on the in the comments as well. All right. So Tom, you do a lot of speaking. Like I said, VidCon London. You're going to be going to traffic and conversion. One of the things that you talk about a lot is YouTube keyword research and how important that is, and how it is the quote unquote unfair advantage to a lot of the bigger creators and channels out there that are growing like crazy. So you've done this really well. Like I said in the introduction, you've generated millions of subscribers and billions of views for the channels that you manage. So can you share a couple of those tactics with some of our viewers today on how to approach keyword research?
Yeah, so for those of you that have not heard of keyword research, this is where I get real nerdy. So excuse me if I get a bit excited. So in essence, in keyword research, it's really, really simple. We are trying to tap into what people are already searching for. And we can use tools like TubeBuddy, and there are some Google-specific tools to find out what people are searching for on Google. And what we're looking for, in essence, is really simple. We're looking for keywords and key phrases that are getting high amounts of search volume, but are low competition. So they're being underserved on the platform. And this is really simple. So we basically create content around what's already been searched for, and then we optimize that content to try and target the traffic for those keyword research, for those keyword terms. And when you imagine how many people are starting new YouTube channels every day, the competition is so tough. So especially when you're just getting started, I always tell people, try and stick to like really simple how-to type content, educational content, and content that people are already searching for. And if you can find these keywords to make content around which are high search volume, low competition, you're almost guaranteed to get some traffic. So that's the kind of really, really broad definition of keyword research. The actual tactics are a little bit more involved. So I'll try and give you like the 5-minute version or the 2-minute version. Tell me when to stop, Rob, if I go off onto another planet.
Go for it.
So what we do, we go out and find all of these lovely keywords. You can use something like TubeBuddy's Keyword Explorer, and we're looking for high search volume, low competition, kind of golden keywords. And so I find all of these keywords. It takes me a few hours, but once I've got them there, what I'm trying to do next is trying to create a system, not just. So I always say that a job as a YouTube channel manager is not to try and get the next video to go viral or not to get views on one single video. It's to create a system where you engineer the relationships between your own videos so you dominate the suggested sidebar, because that's really where a YouTube channel lives and dies. Real growth on a YouTube channel comes from dominating that suggested sidebar. And so I try to use these keywords to generate a system that is going to help me to dominate that sidebar. Pardon me. So what I'm going to do is a 3-tiered system. Bear with me. So once I've got these keywords, I'm looking for channel level keywords, category level keywords, and video specific keywords. So the channel level keywords are going to be the broadest terms around your niche. So let's say, for example, we're talking about a tech channel. It might be something like technology 2020, consumer technology, film technology, whatever it may be. And then you're going to have underneath that different categories of videos. So you'd have different sets of keywords for your different categories. So you might have a set of 5 or 6 keywords that you'd use for news, and 5 or 6 sets of keywords that you'd use for unboxing, and 5 or 6 sets of keywords that you'd use for reviews. And then under that, you may also have categories for like mobile cell phone videos or camera videos or laptop videos or whatever it may be. And then underneath that, you have video specific. So the video specific stuff might be something like iPhone 11 review, iPhone 11 unboxing, Apple iPhone 11, iPhone 11 news, something like that. And so what we eventually have is, let's say you've got 1,000 tech videos on your channel. You've got 1,000 videos that all share the same channel level metadata. You've got big buckets of videos that share the same category metadata. And then you have all of the video specific ones that are identical just to that video. Sorry, not identical, that are unique to that video, because although we want to have overlapping metadata, we never want to have 100% identical metadata, because then it just becomes spammy. YouTube doesn't know what to do with it. They kind of become snowblind to it. And so what we're basically doing is, let's say someone watches my iPhone 11 video, and what I'm saying with my metadata system is, dear YouTube, if you see that someone likes this video, I've got 1,000 videos over here that are really, really similar, but I've actually got 100 videos over here in the same category that are really, really similar. They're like 90% similar. And so YouTube are going to recommend those videos that are that similar. And then viewers start to watch in that order organically, and then YouTube will start to keep promoting the videos in that same order. So we're basically trying to create a system where once people watch one video, they go on to watch 5, 6, 7 of our videos. Pardon me. Because I know when a lot of people talk about suggested, they talk about trying to get kind of hooked onto big viral videos. And that's great, and that can come, and that will be absolutely helpful. But that's less in your control. But with this system that I'm kind of talking about, it's much more in your control. It's much more sustainable. YouTube understands it. It used to work back in 2012. It still works now. I use it on all of the channels that I've worked on. This system has worked, and I worked on the Mr. Bean channel, and putting this system into place took it from 25 million views a month to about 160 million views a month in about 8 months. It happens time and time again. I'm hoping it will continue work into the future. I think eventually YouTube will get smart enough where these kind of systems will be less important, because they'll be smart enough to understand the relationships between the videos organically. But as it stands, I still think that we need to give them this help. And just to clarify, nothing we're talking about here is like spammy or breaking terms of service. It's not black hat. It's not grey hat. It's all totally above board.
Above board. No, I mean, I think that's. I heard you speak about this system. Must have been a couple years ago. It's a little bit different now. I think you've evolved it, just obviously react to the algorithms and changes and stuff. But yeah, it's brilliant. So it makes a lot of sense to sort of create your own network of suggested videos that are overlapping topics. So very, very smart. So if you have any questions, I know that the comments are going crazy with comments on how the system works. But if you have any questions specifically for Tom, let me know in the comments. Okay, so for somebody that's starting, is this something that you would suggest for them to like really stop before they even create any videos, to think about those topics, do the keyword research? Is that sort of where people should start with a new channel, or even just a channel that's got a few dozen videos and just starting.
Yeah, I think it's really, really important. So this works well if you've already got 1,000 videos, but it works even better if you're starting from scratch, because you know that you're doing everything properly from day one. That Mr. Bean channel that I told you about, we had to manually sit and go back and optimize 1,000 videos that had already been published. So if you can do it optimally from day one, you're a much bigger advantage. So yeah, I was actually sitting with a new friend of mine today called Valentina. Hi, Valentina, if you're watching this. And she's got a travel channel, and travel is extremely, extremely competitive. So I was saying, okay, so what's your corner of travel? What makes you different? Because you can't just talk about travel. And she said, okay, well, I want to talk about sustainable travel. So we quickly did a bit of research, and we noticed that people were searching for like eco travel and waste-free travel and zero waste travel and stuff like that. And so not only do you find those big, broad kind of keywords that you can target, but you also find like really specific ideas, like how to pack like liquid-free luggage and stuff like that. So it's not just the high level stuff. It's the really so if you're scratching your head for content ideas, instead of just picking them out of thin air, or this is the video that I want to make the video that people are already looking for, and there's not really competition for it. Or if there's competition, you might search for it and say, well, these videos are all like 7 years old and they're like out of date and they look horrible. So you can go and just do a better job. So yeah, definitely, I think this is really useful for brand new channels as well. Definitely.
No, fantastic. I mean, I think YouTube is so smart in that way with how they know what you're looking for and all these suggested videos and the whole system. I was looking for, tips traveling to New York, because we're planning to go to New York in a couple months. And as I start watching a few of these how-to travel videos, other videos were being suggested that answer questions that I never thought of, but it made a lot of sense, right? So yeah, no, great. I love the system. I think this is probably a whole separate session that we dive into, and to get this knowledge out there to our community. So that being said, I think we are past 40 minutes. So there's a lot of questions here. There's also going to be a lot of people watching the replay. So if you're watching the replay and you have any questions for Tom around monetization, around keyword research, let us know in the comments. We monitored the comments quite extensively, so we'll make sure that we get Tom to answer those questions for you. So as we wrap up, Tom, what is the best place to find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me at Channel Fuel, as in rocket fuel, channelfuel.co. It's right there. Or you can just drop me an email, tom@channelfuel.co. I'm not super active on social, but probably the most business-like would be LinkedIn. So find me on LinkedIn. I'm probably Thomas on there because, I'm trying to be a professional on LinkedIn. So Thomas. Or on Twitter, I'm at channel_fuel. But can I just leave one tip before I go? Because, there's all of these different types of monetization. And like I said, if you don't have a product to sell, you are the product. And similarly to that, you don't own that audience on YouTube. So those million subscribers that you've got, you do not own those subscribers. YouTube own those subscribers. So the number one tip I can give to you, whether you're looking to monetize now or in the future, is to collect people's email addresses, so that then you own the communication between that audience. If you've got things to sell, to promote, you can do it on your own terms via email. Email is still one of the few kind of sacred notifications that people check. So yeah, get people to some kind of place where you can collect their email address. Not enough people, especially not enough YouTube creators, do it. So yeah. Collect people's email addresses.
Yeah, absolutely. Start thinking of that. Ways to create, content and resources that will get people to go to your landing page to collect their emails, and creative ways to do that. I think that is very important. Yes, awesome. So Tom, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Again, like I said, if you're watching this on the replay, let us know your questions in the comments. And I also want to invite everybody to visit our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have experts like Tom sharing their knowledge every single week. We've got live streams, for example, I think this Wednesday with Roberto Blake. So he's going to be talking about SEO Studio. So that's going to be really fun. Also, tomorrow we're going to be talking to Matt Gielen on the Creators Corner, all about thumbnails. So that'll be fun. Tom, hopefully I'll see you in San Diego in a couple weeks. So safe travels till then, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you bet. Take care.